Welcome to a video all about content creation. Like, what is content creation? How do we do it? What do we need to do? What do we not need to do? And where does that actually fit within our business? Hi, I'm Becky. I'm here to help you learn how to create content, to be able to build a business that you love, to create the dream that you want to have as an amazing business. And I'm going to take you through some of the key things that you will need to have to do your content creation and just to get started. So let's start at the beginning and think about what exactly is content creation. It's kind of like a new idea. Before we might have called it photos or videos, or we might have called it text or writing. So those are the things that start off as what content creation is actually about. It can be videos. It can be a video like this. It can be a reel over on Instagram. It can be short form video on TikTok or YouTube, or maybe it's over on X, or maybe you're using Facebook, or maybe you're writing a blog or creating a podcast or writing any of the content that you might use on your website. This is all different types of content. They can be videos, they can be photographs, they can be text, they can be graphics, they can be a combination of all of those. But when you're thinking about your content creation, those are the parts that we're going to start with. And having run my business since 2006 as a photographer, my content is generally visual. So generally, I talk a lot about creating video content and creating photographs and using that in graphics. My aim all the time, and what I try and help people do, is work out, how do I create this content, not to be an influencer, not to kind of go like viral or anything about that. It's actually about, how do I drive more sales into my business? It builds up your personal brand. And you are the brand, you are the person behind your brand. So you always want to be building your brand. So you build your brand, and then you create the opportunities for you to be able to drive more sales, more leads, more interaction. For me, turning up on social media is always super straightforward. It's about, how do I engage with my ideal client and then drive them into my world so that they can know, like, and trust me. So the content that you're creating has to really just come from a really simple, basic way, which is, how do I talk to my ideal client? What is it that they want to know? And I'm going to show you 3 pieces of kit, I think, that help everybody get started with their content creation. I think the simplest option, the simpler that you can make it for you, and it's different for everyone, but the simpler that you can make it, the more likely you will engage with making content, the more likely you will keep turning up, because most of the time, if not every time, the reason that businesses fail. So mine started in 2006, and here it is, 2026, 20 years later, I am still turning up creating content. Now, over that time, it has changed. The things that I have done have changed. I started out blogging, and that's how I began my world. My world began with blogging and writing on a website. Now, I'm not a keen writer, but that was the best way for me to be able to tell my story and to engage with people beyond the small world that I live in the middle of nowhere. And I knew who my clients were, and I knew that they weren't like right on my doorstep. So the way I did it to start off with was blogging, and I kept turning up. And the consistency of turning up is oftentimes the reason why businesses aren't succeeding. They fail after 2 years. There's a whole load of stats about how people's businesses fail, and there's all sorts of different reasons for it. But some of the reasons are that they focus so much on the metrics, they focus so much on the views, and they focus more on maybe going viral. And actually, that isn't necessarily going to convert to a sale. In business, you're generating income. Like, we're here to generate income. So therefore, those sales have to take place. And the way that the sales take place is by somebody coming along, maybe to your Instagram or to your TikTok or to your YouTube shorts. And then from that, they then will go onto your website, or they will then come into your world and they'll make an inquiry or send you an email. That's the aim of all content, to have that very clear path. So things that you can do to start off with: decide which platform you are wanting to work on. Just knowing who your ideal client is really important. So knowing where they're going to hang out. Are they going to hang out more on Instagram or more on TikTok or more on LinkedIn. Different platforms will have a little bit of a different feel. And also you as an individual, you might just prefer some platforms. You might just prefer to be on Instagram because it's your world and you know it. But be really clear on who your ideal client is. They have billions of followers on all of those channels. Some of them are perhaps more like TikTok's probably like super great for under 25s, but actually there's a really big backlash between, you know, silver surfers also going onto TikTok. So I would try the platform that you like the most as a starting point and go with that. And then conquer each one of those as you go along. Focus on one to begin with, and then go through each one of the platforms to be able to do that. And all the time, the content that you're creating, I would be repurposing and reusing it. And let's just sort of pause on that a moment. How do I get to the point where I create my content? So as somebody who doesn't really enjoy writing, the way I do it is through my voice notes. I have my phone, I put it onto voice notes, and all the ideas and all the things that I want to talk about while I'm out walking or while I'm cooking dinner or whatever it is I'm doing, my phone is with me, so I can simply voice note it. And in the voice notes, I then go back over. I spend 20 minutes at the end of each week going back over each of those voice notes and I go, okay, right, let's convert this into content. Yes, that's a good idea. I've had time to process and think about it. Often what I find is that the things that I'm talking about in the voice notes, they come back up 2 or 3 times. So I know that that's really locked in. That's a really good option to use. So I use the voice notes. I then be able to convert that into content. I decide, okay, this is a video, this is a blog. How am I going to do that? Is it going to be a carousel maybe on Instagram? What's it going to do? And I then start to break it down. But I think finding a way that works for you, you might prefer writing, you might prefer typing. But whichever way it is, it's got to be easy and simple for you to then go, okay, yeah, I'm happy to keep doing this. So that's the first thing. Get your content ideas down to begin with. When you're thinking of what to write about, and sometimes people will struggle with that, the way I look at it is they're less interested in most cases with what I'm saying. What they're actually interested in, what my ideal client is actually interested in, is getting a quick answer. They want to know, how do I create content? How do I do my videos? What are my questions? In your business, you will know what your frequently asked questions are. You might find that you've only got 2 or 3 questions that keep coming up and again, but create the content that answers those frequently asked questions. From a blogging point of view, from a website point of view, if you always create content that people are looking for and asking questions on, and you simply answer them yourself with your own voice, then you will stand out far better in your search. You will stand out far better with being able to answer the questions. And also, you get to send the video, you get to send that content to the next person who asks you, how do I do? What is the thing? And you go, yeah, sure, no worries. I would love to help you. Here you go. Here is my video that answers that question. So create that content. Now, the other thing, once you've created one piece of content, I then go on to repurpose it. I go on to reuse it. So one thing is create a video one day, and then in about 6 or 8 weeks time, I will reuse that video. I will reuse it in exactly the same way. I will put it out again. I look at which videos have worked well. I look at which photos, which carousels, which content has gone well. I look at my insights in the back end of my Google Analytics, and I see, okay, right, that blog post is getting a lot of hits. We need to reuse, rechange it, and add to it so that it gets more views. And in Instagram and TikTok, you can see that so easily on your insights. It's something that is so much quicker to be able to get the feedback. Even if you're using Instagram stories, you're going to get feedback super quickly within like 24 hours. You will know within a month which content has worked well. And so picking those pieces and exactly just taking it again, repurpose it, put it back out again, exactly the same, 6, 8 weeks later. Get it going again. I've got content that I've reused 10, 15 times in the last year, and every time it does well. I don't change it. I don't do anything. I put it back out there. I have the same message. I have the same information. So that works really super well. The next thing with that same piece of video, I will change the ones that work well. I will change the hook. I will change the content in terms of the text piece. I will just change like one thing about it and I'll reuse it again. So from a visual point of view, it looks different. but actually it's the same video. So that's two things there. So first of all, I reuse it exactly as it is 6 to 8 weeks later. And secondly, I change the hook, the text, some one little part of that video, and I put it back out again. And I test and I check which ones worked, which ones hasn't worked. Did the first one do better? Did the second one do better? And I check and I look. So those kind of repurposing and reusing it. The third thing I do is I remake it. So I take the same video clips and I put them in different orders. I might add in a little bit more video. I think, okay, fine. Well, people were asking a bit more about that. So I will re-add it in. I might change it like for seasonality. I might do a different intro. I might do a different outro. I might make it shorter or I might make it longer. So I take the content and I move it around a little bit and I call that a remake. So the three things that I do with my content is I repurpose, I reuse, and I remake it. I am not creating content all the time. I am a business owner. I help people with their 3 months of strategy in 3 days. That's my aim of what I do. I have a membership where people can come in and we create the content every single week so that I can help you be able to create that content. That's what I do. My marketing piece, I have to do the marketing. You have to do the marketing because if you don't change, then there is no change. All of this is part of your marketing. Your social, your content is all part of your marketing. So if you want to kind of move the needle a little bit, if you want to have more sales, if you want to drive more leads, if you want to get more visibility, if you want more of something, you are going to have to engage in that. So this part about how to create your content is super interesting, super important. So let's start again. In terms of what you need for your content creation, now knowing whereabouts you're going to put it, you've chosen your platform. Now you're thinking, okay, this is how I'm going to capture it. You might be using your voice notes. You might be using your phone. You might be using your own kind of text and things like that. You choose which element you want. You get all your ideas down. Then you start to think about which of the ideas you're going to use on a weekly basis. The aim of all content is one of these three things, I think. Some of them are easier than others. To educate. This is an educational video that we're doing now. I am helping you work out what content creation is and how you can get started with it. I'm educating. I'm helpful in that kind of sense. The next one is inspirational. Now, this might be like a home renovations, like how to do your DIY and what it's going to look like before and afters. It's inspiring. It's amazing. It's lovely. Depending on your business, might be the easier way to do. So it's inspirational. So it's educational, inspirational. You might be promoting. You do have the option, of course, to be able to sell directly. A little bit less of that though, because otherwise it becomes like one of those massive, messy notice boards. The fourth one, which I find really hard to do myself, is to be funny, to entertain people in that kind of way. And some people are just super funny. You will watch those videos again and again, and it's great. Bring it on, bring the entertainment on. It's great. Sometimes you see that with news and all sorts of different things. But if you want to be able to entertain, if that is naturally part of what you do, naturally part of your business, naturally part of your personality, then crack on, do that one as a different way. So decide what your video or your photos or your content is actually going to be about. Then we're going to say, okay, what kind of spin are we going to put on it? You've probably heard things about content pillars. Now, working in marketing for a long time, content pillars was kind of, if I'm honest, a little bit of a strange thing to talk about, because it just reminds me of doing sort of Greek history and doing about Romans when I was 5 years old. And I was like, what are we doing with content pillars? Okay, so let's be really clear. All a content pillar is the thing that you want to talk about. There might be 1, 2, 3 things that you talk about in your business. And that's essentially leading people along down that marketing path to the point of sales. So if you're perhaps, selling a car, then the content pillars you might talk about is new bits and pieces that go on the cars. That would be something that you might talk about. You might have a whole tech piece that you want to talk about new cars, what they've done, or you might be super specific. You might only sell one brand of car and you're going to talk to them about all the different sorts you can have, like the big car, the little car, the middle car, who they're ideal for, first cars, all of that. So that is your content pillars. It's the thing that you talk about, and you talk about it again and again and again and again. And I've had clients that have said, Becky, I can't talk about that thing anymore because I've talked about it twice already. And it's you know that you have to sort of say to people maybe 7 or 8 times. They have to be able to engage with you 7 or 8 times before they actually then feel comfortable buying from you, or that they hear you, or that they see you. Amongst all the things that are going on, you might just only have like 5, 6, 7 times. So being confident and comfortable, you then actually become the expert in your area. And that's the aim of what your content should be doing. It should be setting you out as the expert of your area. Your expertise comes through and make it into something super clear. Now, we've got that in terms of your content creation. We know where we're gonna put it. We know what we can do. Let's not get too hung up on all the different things that you can do with your content creation. Let's try and focus on one area that you're going to give it a go and have a go with it. So now I'm going to just show you the kit that I think is great to start with. And I think everyone has a smartphone, a mobile phone, okay? You have your smartphone. So you have on there your platforms that you want to use. So let's say you want to use YouTube. Let's say you want to use Instagram. You have it downloaded on your phone. You get comfortable and you get used to looking and being in the world for which the social media channel is that you want to use. Where are you going to put your content? Having your phone, you have your back cameras, you have a front camera, and in that, you have the opportunity to make your photographs and your videos, and in this case for me, my voice notes too. So use your mobile phone and have that as something that is the heart of your content. Yes, this is an iPhone. You can do exactly the same within an Android, and I'm not going to get into the kind of the differences between them, but if you've got something that's just a couple of years old, you've got good options with the lenses that are on the back, and you've got good functionality in the phone, it's fantastic. It's what you need. We also do all of our editing on it. I talk about that in the membership. I take you through how to edit all of your videos, how to edit your photos, what it is you're kind of good to do, not to do, all of that kind of stuff. So that, starting off with the mobile phone, you need a mobile phone. The next thing is about lighting, and this comes in 2 formats, okay? The easiest thing when you're taking your first videos or photos is to use natural light. Now, I'm inside and I have a ring light behind me, and that's going to give me a reasonable amount of light around about here. But the easiest option, if you're based in the UK, have a north-facing window, or having a cloudy day. Now, we have loads of days that are super cloudy, but the cloudier is, the easier it is, because it's like this giant softbox over you. When you have a bright blue sunny day, although that's super lovely for lots of you, you get a lot of shadow. You get a lot of like dark shadow or highlights, and it's really difficult to take pictures. People will be squinting because they won't be able to see into the sun. They'll have half a shadow on half of their face. They'll have highlights. It's a mess, okay? So from a photography and video point of view, we generally avoid the whole kind of high sun. You go into a place where you come into the shadows. So if you come into the shadows, things are much easier to photograph and video. So the first thing is that. The other thing is this little guy here. He's like super flexible. This is on my kit list, and that just attaches to the back of my phone. I've tried loads of different ones, and I find this one works the best because it sticks to my phone, and then I stick it to the window. And the reason I stick it to the window is, sure enough, the window is giving me that beautiful light. And I can then do my piece to camera, I can talk, I can do whatever I need to do, and I have the beautiful light in front of me. This does also stick, apart from to glass, it will stick on other surfaces. It's not great on like just walls and things. It's too, like, it doesn't stick on a wall, but it does stick really well on any kind of like flat, shiny surface. So I find that super easy to use and really super portable as well. So that's my easy option in terms of lighting. The other thing I have for lights is this little gizmo here. This is by Amscran. It's down below as well. And none of this is sponsored, by the way. This is just like good stuff to get started with. And in this kit, you just turn it on. There. And it doesn't show up on camera very well, but I can adjust it down. And this light is so good. And then it comes from the other side as well with the mirror part of it. And so I've got two sides. And the reason that I really like this light as opposed to other lights, if I take this off, is it literally like connects to my phone through the magnet, through the magic, and then I can turn this on and I get really good light. It looks really similar to this, and I've got that from there. I've also got, if I need it, a little selfie mirror if I wanted to check myself beforehand. I also like to be able to do this if I'm filming or taking pictures of other people. I've got the light that I can shine around as well, around them, so it doesn't have to come directionally. And because this has got lots of LEDs in it, it's nowhere near as bad as using your flash. So I would always say turn off your flash on your phone, but this has got like a really good straightforward thing. So that's the sort of starting point. So having really good light, having a good camera phone so that you can take your photos, use your smartphone to take your pictures, take your videos. Okay, here's one from like way back in 2020 when there was an issue with getting tripods. It doesn't have to be Heinz canned baked beans. It doesn't have to be Heinz. You can use whatever you want. You use canned tomatoes if you want. It's up to you. But basically, it's an elastic band or a hair bubble with the can. And what I do is I get my phone and I put it, and this is good. You can use it for like a water bottle too if you're out co-working, but anything. And it keeps my phone steady. It's an easy, something we all have in our cupboard. We put that there and it's so straightforward. It's a winner. You can put it on the shelf behind me. I can put it anywhere I want. And yeah, I guess it's a little bit weird walking around in your handbag with like a can of beans, but you know, hey, whatever. It's a tripod, and some people actually prefer it to taking the whole tripod. So having a steady place to be able to put your phone, take your selfies, take your pictures, that's one option that I use. So that's one kind of tripod. I've got two more to show you. And this is just like your basic kit to get you started creating the content with ease. The other one is this. This is one of my favorite ones. This is the bendy tripod. And the reason I like him is because I can put him next to my desk. I can put him behind my laptop. I can also use it if I'm out in the street. I can wrap it around things. It's got these great legs and it works really well. Portrait or landscape, can easily move this around here. So having like a tripod allows you to have your hands free. So you can talk to the camera with ease. You have a little bit of space. You can take much better photographs, much better selfies of yourself without sort of squashing your neck because you're trying to take the picture in. I would always use a selfie for that option. And then my last tripod, one of my favorite ones is this super easy one. It has like a little Bluetooth thing here. It's quite small. It's super lightweight. And then I just open it up. It goes like really, really high. It goes like, see, it's really tall. It's like goes taller than I do. And then I can tilt my phone down a little bit to be able to do my PC cameras, my pictures, my videos, my group shots, any of that kind of stuff. I use it for all of that. So I find that one. So having a tripod is a super helpful way. Now, when it comes to video, you can get away with a little bit of like wobbly video if you need to. But I think the thing that's really important is having some microphones. These ones are DJIs. I've had some Rode mics. They were super good too, but these are really easy. They're really small. They attach here, your lapel. They also have, and I don't know why it's ever called this, like the dead cat. I don't get that. Like, I think it's really offensive to cats. Anyway, it pops on there. You can put it on a lapel. You can hold it. You can use the magnets. They come apart. It goes there. It's super easy. It captures sounds brilliantly. If I'm out in a busy area, if there is the air conditioning on, it will capture the sound perfectly. This little bit here goes in the bottom of your phone. Oops, drop that. That goes in the bottom of your phone. This is the part you speak into. It's super straightforward. So having like some really nice mics. You can also, if you don't want to get that, if you don't want to go to the investment of getting some mics, you can just use the old style microphone headphones. Because the mic is here under your mouth, they work really, really well. They capture great sound. So you can have a look around at different things. But good lighting is the key. A lot of the times with photography, with videos, having bad light, having dodgy light is just going to sort of wash stuff out. It's going to be rubbish. Having a solid surface like your tripod to be able to put your phone on so that you can easily use it, have your hands free, all of that. And then having the lighting, the tripod, and the microphone for your video will really help you. I talk about this a lot more in the membership, and I help each week. We meet for an hour and we account. Well, one, it's accountability, and two, we're helping each other, and I'm guiding you through taking content with ease, taking content that's relevant, taking content that is interesting to your clients so that they answer the questions, so that they engage with you, so that you have a conversation. So you can easily have the conversation in the DMs, so that you can easily then start to create a relationship with them, so that further down the line, they would then potentially buy something from you. So look, that's what I wanted to show you, getting started with your content creation. There's loads of different ways that you can get started. I hope that those tips that to get you beginning, like to think about how and what you want to be able to create, and also some of the content and some of the gear that's sort of good to get going with. I hope that's been really helpful for you. As I say, my name is Becky Craven. Follow along so that you can find out more about how to create content if you are just getting started and you want to be able to grow your business. I can't wait to have you in my world. Thank you very much. Don't forget to click and subscribe. We're going to do this each week, so it would be great to have you here. Thanks a lot.